Wild game last night here in Los Angeles between the Lakers and the Clippers. Clippers led by 19 near the end of the first quarter thanks to Kawhi Leonard going off. Then the Lakers led by 9 with 2:18 left in the game, and they blew that. Yet the Lakers won the overtime 13-8, won the game 130-125. Finally beat Ty Lue because as a Clippers coach, Ty Lue was 11-0 against the Lakers, believe it or not. Wow. Keyshawn Johnson, you grew up a Lakers fan right here in the L.A. area. What was the biggest reason the Lakers won last night?
I mean, it's easy to say. It's LeBron James. And then Austin Reeves cooking in overtime, putting in some buckets. But it's LeBron, man. The Lakers go as far as LeBron is going to take them. I know we want to push Anthony Davis in front of LeBron, but right now that's not the case, although both had double-doubles last night. AD played well. There's no question about it. But LeBron, is something about not only his basketball IQ, but when he wants to do something, you just go back to breaking Kareem's record last year, Skip. As you know, he went on a tear to get to that record.
From December 30th, his birthday, through February 7th.
You mentioned 11 straight losses to the Clips, okay?
Yep.
At some point, that had to stop, and LeBron James knew it had to stop. They just brought in James Harden and P.J. Tucker. Tuck played, but Harden didn't last night. LeBron knows that. He understands that. So one of the things that we could not afford to do was lose to the Clippers in this situation at home, 11 straight losses. We need to stay on top because, as I said to you and Richard Sherman the other day, it's not about 2 or 3 teams. It's about the Western Conference. When you look at the Golden State Warriors team sitting at 4-1, getting taken care of the Kings last night. Then you talk about what can the Mavs be? What are the Suns? Okay, you start looking at Denver. We got to stay right there. We don't want to be in no play-in tournaments and all that sort of stuff, hoping and praying at the end of the day. Many people have been complaining about, not necessarily complaining, but raising the question about LeBron's minutes. Why is he playing so many minutes so early in the season? Well, we want to compile these W's. Then we can worry about resting him up and then hitting it strong toward the end of the season and into the playoffs. So it's all about LeBron, man. That's the reason we won that game last night.
And for me, it was interesting to watch because I was flying in, of course, into the World Series and then this game. And I'm going to tell you, I'm thinking when I'm watching, when Kawhi Leonard came out to L.A., and remember all those commercials he had? He's taking over L.A. and all of that. We never really saw that battle. Last night was really the first time we saw that battle.
Could make that case.
You know what I'm saying? That was the first time, and that was a game. Now, to watch that kind of talent on the floor at the same time here in L.A. was incredible. And each one of those dudes, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, those 4 stars showed up to play. And then Russell Westbrook said, wait, what about me? I'm in here too. Let me get something going. It was phenomenal. You know what I thought about also, guys, because we've had that conversation here? I thought about what LeBron looked like last night compared to what he looked like in that Denver series at the end of those games, when he was trying to drive and make that layup. And then how he drove, caught that alley-oop late in the game, and how fresh he is. And I thought to myself, I'm so tired of hearing everybody talk about trying to control and manage sports. Are you joking? You come in with a plan. We only want to play them this much. We only want to do it. Down in Dallas, Mike McCarthy, we're going to play complimentary football. You can't manage sports. Like, you can have a plan, but sports, that's why we so caught up in it, because you can't predict it, and you have to win the games. Like he said, you have to win the game, especially for the Lakers, because you're trying to find your identity right now. Early on, it's important to find your identity. More important than resting LeBron, we got to figure out the direction that team is headed in.
Okay, back to Keyshawn's points, and I liked all of yours, Michael.
You like mine?
I'm going to respond to your points. LeBron James, through 5 games, even though this team is only 3-2, has been playing at a very high level for his age and stage of his career. He's also playing extremely high minutes when there was supposed to be some plan, as you're pointing out, in place about minutes restrictions early on that you would gradually build up through the season. LeBron James has now played the 7th most minutes in the entire NBA.
Right. You can't play.
I'm not sure how smart that is going forward, but to your point, you have actually needed him in stretches to get you home in these games.
43 minutes last night.
Yeah, boy, that's incredible. Okay, so here's the point. LeBron has also been playing at a very high level late in games in ways he did not last year, because I pointed out to you and I have detailed to you how they had at least 12 games last year that he should have closed and they failed to close. Sometimes it was his fault, sometimes it was Schroeder's fault or whoever else.
And that'll happen again this year, man.
Okay.
It's a long season.
I don't know. It hasn't happened yet because he is now in the fourth quarter and overtime, 24 of 34 from the floor. That's 71%. That's outstanding. He's 5 of 11 from 3, fourth quarter and overtime. That's outstanding. Just last year, in fourth quarters and overtimes for the whole regular season and playoffs, he was sub 50% from the floor. He's only 46%, and from 3, he was 27% in fourth quarters and overtime. So he basically stunk last year later in games. And you know what happened against Denver in those 4 games in the conference finals. In the fourth quarters of the 4 games, he was 7 of 23 from the floor and 1 of 10 from 3. Well, he seems to have flipped the switch on that and flipped it on its head, because I'm impressed with the way he's playing late in games. But why did I pick the Lakers before the year started? I told you it is time to have
we don't want you to pick
a
us.
big 3. It is time to have an Austin Reeves rise into at least being a half a star, maybe not a full star, but a half a star alongside LeBron and Anthony Davis, because LeBron loves this kid. He respects this kid. He buys into this kid. And I want to show you, after what this kid did finally last night in overtime, if you could see what LeBron did, sort of photobombing, interrupting his on-court interview, and what LeBron yelled in Austin Reeves' ear, check this out.
I started the game horrible, had too many turnovers, but everybody was there to, pick me up and,
Go win the ball game, AR. Go win the ball game.
My dog.
I think he said go win the ball game.
Yeah, I know what he said. I think him and AD both, we had a lot of really good, contributions today, but he was 20, I still call him 6.
Okay, so to me, that was significant. Yeah. There was some passing of torch there. He was telling him in sideline huddles, go win the game. And so he was reminding everybody after the fact, I was yelling in his ear, go win the freaking game. And in overtime, Austin Reeves finally lived up to his new contract. I think it's been a weight on his shoulders. I think this is all new to him. The spotlight, the focus, the contract, all of the preseason publicity that he got, he has arrived. And he was not living up until the overtime last night, when he flat out took the game over. His energy, his playmaking. If we could see what happened, this is a play made with 2:16 left where he stole, I think you mentioned it, Michael, but he stole the ball from Kawhi, and then he ends up with the lob dunk to LeBron. This is really the play of the night, where he steals it, and then he's off to the races, and he, over the shoulder. Okay, LeBron trusts the kid because he's got high basketball IQ, and he doesn't choke in big moments late in games. Remember, against Denver in the 4 fourth quarters last year, he made 8 of 10 shots and 7 of 8 from 3. So I like the mix of him and LeBron closing the game, because they work together, because LeBron buys into the kid. It's hard to impress LeBron. It's hard to win him over, because he got the highest IQ in basketball, maybe in the history of basketball. And he believes in this kid. So to me, that was a significant. It was a development where LeBron's yelling at him after the game. I'm telling you, go win the game, and you did. Way to go.
It's LeBron, and me, in my heart, I would like to think, you got the coaches in you somewhere. You know what I mean? And that, to me, right there, that was big right there. There are a lot of guys that wouldn't do that. LeBron understands the significance of that, and he's telling that kid, you belong here. You belong on this stage. And I'm going to tell you something. When LeBron says it, I guarantee you, even though he plays with LeBron, just like Skip messing around, just like Keith's talking about Skip, He got a million texts from everybody saying, boy, LeBron said you the man. That kind of stuff carries confidence. And I'm telling you, it's brilliant. LeBron knew exactly what he was doing. He knew he has long season, and he needs to make sure this kid is in the right place.
A super long season. You go back
it's
to last
brilliant. It's brilliant leadership.
You go back to last year's playoffs, he was not ready to take those shots. And as long as I got LeBron James on the floor, LeBron James is going to be the closer. And now if there's an opportunity, like it was last night for Austin Reeves, you allow him to try and make those shots. But if that opportunity isn't there, you don't force it like you would force it to LeBron. You want LeBron to certainly have some leadership skills and get people to buy in because it is a long season. Okay, they got a lot of games to go. So when you start talking about the way LeBron shoots the ball in the fourth quarter, that's why I said to you, Skip, you can point to 12 games throughout last year that shots were missed for a number of reasons. That's going to happen again this year. There's a long season.
It's
going to happen.
Many times.
I can point to many teams, including the great start that the Boston Celtics are on right now, in Porzingis, and what they blew them out by 51 last night. I can go 2 months from now, and I can pick games out that the Boston Celtics in the fourth quarter should have done this, should have done that. Oh, my God, Tatum missed a shot. It's easy to do. I'm not worried about it. My worry is that strategy and that plan that Michael Irvin talked about, is it adjustable? Yes, it is. And what I mean by that is right now what we're seeing is like, oh, my God, LeBron's averaging 25 points a game. He's doing this. He's still doing that. There's a lot of minutes. As the season goes on, you tail those minutes back. You want to make sure you got enough wins to not be sitting